Hey there, today's something new. 2 years ago when I first started doing wood turning, first thing I did was join a wood turning group. I highly recommend it. The people in these groups are so educated and talented and just generous with their time. They have been amazing, whether they wanted to tell me that I was doing something wrong, and they were so hesitant about it, but they were telling me because they cared. And they are just really, at least my group, really exceptional people. So a few of the guys from my group have agreed to let me videotape them while they demonstrate something that they feel that they've really mastered. Today we're going to go see my friend Steve, and he's going to show us and demonstrate how he makes these decorative birdhouses. They are gorgeous. I can't wait for you to see it. Let's go. Hey there. So this is Steve.
Hi.
And he is a very talented wood turner. Well, how many years ago did you start?
Well, I started in high school, like
Really?
most of us.
Okay.
Because the wood shop had a
That's
lathe.
only because you're a guy. You had wood
Oh,
shop.
that's right. That's right. And then there was like a 20-year hiatus, and then I got to do it for a little while. I had a shopsmith, and I started to turn then again, and then I had children, and I couldn't make noise in the garage. So it was another 30 years or so. So I probably started again around 2015.
Okay.
Around in there,
Okay.
and then bought a little mini and all that stuff, and then just kind of
built
done
on
it
your
from
talent.
there.
Yeah. So you had a bit of a background though beforehand, so
Yes,
that
a
you
little bit.
understood. You weren't going in cold like I did 2 years
No,
ago.
but every break I seem to start all over again.
Yeah.
I'll start with pens to get the momentum going, and bottle stoppers, and then I'll get something big.
Do you have any samples of what we're going to do?
Yeah, I've got the ones I did. So these are a couple little guys.
See if we can zoom in.
Or I can kind of get closer. I don't know if we can see any of that.
There you go.
Here's one. This is another one.
So cute.
So, you know.
That is really cute.
Yeah, and
really
the only thing
cute.
you worry about is where you're going to hang it. If this is on a display, it can be a little heavier. If you're really going to hang these things on a tree, that's why we're going to hollow some out. You don't have to hollow them out. You can use Forstner bit, but I'm going to hollow a little bit out.
Right.
To make them lighter.
Perfect. Let's get started.
Okay. Okay, so the scrap pieces, they can be whatever size you want. The body is 1.5 by 1.5 by 2 inches long. And this is the perch, it's an 1/8 inch drilled. This is the entrance, it's a 1/4 inch drilled. And when I drilled it, I drilled about just past the halfway mark. So that way when you're hollowing, it makes sure to get it. I went a 1/2 inch to the center, and then 1 inch to the center. And that can be whatever you want. This is going to be the roof. It's a little bit bigger. It's 1.75 by 1.75 by 2 1/4. And I just use contrasting colors. So that's kind of the sizes, and we'll set it. So you can see I've drawn an arrow. For me, that's just to say that's the top. That's where I'm going to hollow out.
Makes sense.
This line right here is basically the real length of what the birdhouse should be.
Oh, so that the whole bottom part will mostly be cut away.
This will be cut away. Mm-hmm. There'll be a tenon on it when I'm done, and then that'll be flipped over here into a chuck.
Perfect.
So I can hollow and do all that.
Okie doke.
So I'll get rolling. I'm going to bounce around from tools to tools and whatever floats my boat at that given moment.
If there's any tool that you feel I should mention in the video, then just let me know.
So some of the things I'm going to use, I'll mention it. I've got a bunch of mini. These I'll use sporadically, but they'll mostly be for the finials and the perch, because they're just nice and tiny. So I've got a tiny skew, a round nose scraper, and a spindle gouge. So they're pretty small.
Yep.
The other piece that I'm going to do to hollow out is a little mini hollower. It's by Robert Sorby. They come in a set of straight The swan is, this is a not very angled, and then the next one is quite a bit sharper.
Oh, wow. I never saw one of those.
Yeah, so basically it's a scraper,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not doing a lot of hollowing. It's just a small amount.
Right.
Those are kind of the different tools. The rest will be spindle gouges, carbide tips, roughing gouge. It just depends on what I grab at any given moment.
You don't.
So I'm going to put this on.
Your safety first.
Steve will be turning at a 1650 RPM.
What I like to do on this is try to get, use one of the other ones that I've done to mimic. Just use my calipers. Just go, okay, what's the thickest part, the widest part. Make sure that that's as far as I go, which this one might be a little smaller. So I'll turn this round first and see how we go.
Do you find, before you turn that back on, do you find that when you're going over where the holes have been drilled that you get a catch or no?
No, it's going so fast you don't even feel it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Same with hollowing, you don't really feel it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So a couple different things you can do. I've done it both ways. You can start rounding it here, making your shape, or automatically put it in the chuck. So what I'm going to do is make this tenon a little bit smaller, and then I'll put it in the chuck. I'll flip it around, and then I'll start shaping it.
All right, so this is the top though, right?
Yeah,
Here.
so this is, the top where the hollowing's going to go. Mm-hmm.
And you use a tailstock even though you have such a small piece?
Yeah, just to make sure it stays the same centered. And it's usually not.
I'm really bad about using a tailstock. I'm just like so lazy about it.
Yeah, normally I won't, but once I get it set, then I can take it away.
Yeah, right. Especially to hollow.
Mm-hmm. That should be okay.
Oh, okay. All right, I thought you were leaving that the whole time. I was
Sometimes
like,
I do,
do you?
sometimes I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. I'm so lazy about it. I probably should because it's
Yeah.
probably dangerous to not use it more often.
So now I'll mark, so I know where the end of this guy is going to be, which is right here. So that's my waist.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I'll do is I'll caliper the end so I know about how small I want it. And I don't know if you can hear me in all this.
I can.
Okay. I know some people like to do this while it's on. I don't. Freaks me out.
Oh, while it's spinning.
Yep, I don't do that. Everything I do takes more time because I freak myself out. So
Better
I'll
safe than sorry.
Yeah, just put a mark. I'll go a little bit wider, than what I wanted. Okay.
Now you have your guide for how
Yeah.
narrow it
So I
needs
know
to
where
get.
to go.
There you go. You put your exhaust on.
So one other thing. I want to mark where the widest point is.
Oh.
sharp your pencil though?
Yeah, I guess so.
So what I'll also do is I'll sand this section.
What grit is that?
This one's 320, just to kind of give it a little bit of a smooth edge.
Yeah.
So this is where we're going to hollow. Ooh, might have gone too thin. But I can fix that. Before we hollow, that was a 7/8 inch Forstner bit. So what I'm going to do is
That's smart. Go to a thicker spot. There you go. There you go. Perfect.
so what we'll see here, so we've got the two holes, and what I've done, well, it's going to be different now. So I'm going to drill just past the perch. So I do, the mark is the same. So I put a mark on there so I know where to stop drilling.
You put a mark on the
On the
drill bit.
shaft of
Okay.
the bit.
Makes life so much easier even when you're doing a bowl and stuff to do a drill a hole first.
Right. Okay. So I'm at like 450. Come on. So one of the design changes, I'm going to try this again, is when you hollow this out, you're curving the inside, so when your jaws spread, it doesn't hold. See, right now I could turn this around and it would hold just fine because it's straight.
Right.
But once I hollow, it wants to pull it away from it.
Right.
So I wasn't able to do finials because I'm lazy and I didn't want to make the jam chucks and all that stuff. I don't enjoy making things to make things.
Yeah, I actually I know that feeling.
So what I came up with was I'm going to drill an 1/8 inch hole all the way through to the bottom. So now there's where my finial can go.
Okay.
So I'm going to try this. Instead of, then I don't care.
Because this is waste here anyway, so
Right.
you're going to drill into
I'm gonna
that
drill- I'm gonna
so
drill
that
all the
there's
way
a
through.
little tiny hole in the bottom.
Right.
Okay.
That's the plan. What I do is I just do that, jam it in there, kind of find its own little thing before I turn it on, otherwise it wobbles. Alright, so that's kind of where it is, so we can keep this where it is and then we'll do a little hollowing. So now I'm going to take all this off. So another design change I'm going to do, because I just talked about, you know, once I hollow this, we can't attach it to the pin. So this is not only going to be a video, this is going to be an experiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark in here, oops, probably maybe a 1/2 inch in. And I'm not going to hollow that part. I'm only going to hollow inside there.
Okay,
So
so
I'm
then
not
maybe
going to
you can
hollow
hold it.
all the way out here.
So you can maybe
So
get
maybe
it in
it'll
the chuck.
still grab.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what my hope is.
So but the chuck is going to sit going outward,
Yeah, so
not
I'm gonna be
not
using
compression. It's going to be expansion.
expansion. So I'm going to be using this.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yep. That's like amazing that this so thin could be strong enough to hold
Yeah,
itself in there
I will
without
use the tailstock
coming
for
apart like
most of it.
straws. Yeah.
When I flip it, I'll use the tailstock for 90% of it, and then when I want to get that last cut, then I'll let it be on its own. So
go.
otherwise, yes, I do have quite a few that split. So it's a little high. So this, kind of like any hollowing tool, if you've used it, you kind of want to be towards center. And you learn from experience. What I do is when you're going in, do not tip it up.
Okay.
I accentuate and I go down. It takes me a little longer, but I go down.
Okay.
Because eventually
Otherwise
you go
it's
up,
gonna-
you're going to lose the tool.
Oh, okay.
And so you go, okay, well, how do you know when you've got enough? Well, you look at these little holes, and this will tell you how thin the walls are in there. So if I were to do that same mark, because I'm going to do a little more on the outside, line that up right about here. So that gives me a visual.
Don't go past
Don't go
that.
past that
Right.
line.
Okay.
Okay, so then this,
Okay. So I see this.
see how this worked.
That worked
Let's see if it
perfectly.
worked. If it doesn't push it away from it. There we go.
Wow, that worked great.
All right. So then I'll put the tailstock back up though and support it, even though it has that. But that most of that's going to go away. See, I can turn
that's
it,
pretty
so
good.
I'm going to have to tighten it a tiny bit.
Oh, you can turn it in the chuck?
Yeah, I'm expanding those, but yes, I could by hand. We don't really want that to
No.
happen. Okay, we'll see how that goes. This, you want to try to get it flat. You're going to put a finial on it.
Oh, so you wanna have that part there rounded
Just
more?
try to get it flatter. Or
Oh, flatter.
cut it. So, anyway,
Say
so
that again.
I would say something like this, I would probably wipe it down with sanding sealer, and then sand it again, and then when it's all finished, I like to use spray lacquer.
Oh, nice.
You know,
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't, but that's, for me, that seems to be the best. I keep trying different things, and I just keep coming back to it.
Well, if it works. And it really, I mean, you know, I love to do, everybody seems to love like a live edge bowl, but then, and they're gorgeous. But I also like to try to do different shapes on regular bowls, like not always do just live edge,
Right.
you know.
So, I'm going to measure this to make sure I don't make it too small. So, I may make it a little bit bigger. So, okay. So that way I know when I turn this round, that's as round as I want to get.
Right. So that's your guide as to how that's as small as it can get.
Yeah. And then once I get it down to that, I'll turn that into the pen. Take this. And I'll just turn that to that side. And it doesn't have to be exact. As a wood turner, you want them to snap in nice and tight. But we're going to glue it, so if it's a little bit smaller, it's okay.
It can glue in.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a box that's going to
Right.
be opened and closed a million times.
So again, I'll just do this, get myself a guideline, see where I am.
So you use that other tool because that's what you drilled that hole with, so you know the exact size.
Right.
Right.
So that's going to be a little big, which is good. So I know I just crank right to that, and then I'll finesse after that. A little loose, but I'm going
Okay.
to glue it, so it doesn't matter.
Correct. Cute.
This is about the right width. That's good.
Right.
I'll give an approximate proportion right there.
So that's the top, or is that the
Yeah, this will be the
fillet?
top, so we'll eventually flip this in the chuck.
Right.
But what I have to do first is, see if I have a sample. It may be hard to see, but I'll undercut. So instead of a straight line, I'll dig this out.
Okay.
So when it,
Oh, just like to fit in the
so
chuck.
if you see that's not straight, it goes up at an angle.
Okay. So it's dips down slightly
Yeah,
over it.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, so then that's actually great because you don't see the joint
Right.
at all. Okay.
So we'll just do a scraping cut. So I'll get in to where the tenon goes, and then I'll just dig in and then come out. In theory.
Everything in theory.
It's just an undercut, just a little bit. And I'll test fit it again because I did make a little more of the tenon. Start to get the shape.
This is fun because you can pretty much like make this any shape you want. You
Right.
can have some fun with it then.
Yeah, I'm just doing this because that's what I did. When I woke up this morning, I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll do a talking heads version next time where it's all squared off.
Oh, cute,
You
cute.
know, those weird caps that they wore. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the body of it has to be a specific size, but the
Right.
top here can be whatever
could
you
even
want.
Make it go down.
So cute. Look at that.
So far, that's where it is.
Very cute.
Okay. So this one, we're just going to do a perch. And it's real, I'm just going to do a simple one. You don't even have to turn it. You can go get a twig. You know, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's a
if you
cute
want.
idea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to turn it around first. And so, since I made an 1/8 inch,
You have to go all the way down to an 1/8 inch.
yeah,
Ay.
I know. Well, hopefully it won't take too long because it's just
That's all
I'm
right.
just going to do round. I'm not really going to do a shape of any kind.
That's a talent in itself, just turning something down to an 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
That's a light touch. So that little tenon there is 1/8 inch that it can go into the thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There's your perch.
Wow, how cool.
All right.
Looks like Pinocchio.
You need to caliper it. So I have a 1/4 inch wrench.
Okay.
So when I get down close to the size, I can
My
just,
goodness, how
know,
brilliant. Okay.
yeah.
That saves a ton of time.
So what we could do is, so that's what it would look like. Not finished.
Very,
finish
very
coat on
cute. Very cute.
So this is my go-to stuff. I love it. They have another name. There's a new name for it. They don't call it Deft anymore. I forget what they call it. I just bought a couple cans. So I don't know why they changed the name. Oops.
And this is weatherproof or
No, it's considered indoor,
okay.
but I can't imagine anybody putting these outdoor.
No, exactly.
You know, so that'll dry in like 10 minutes or so,
Perfect.
and then we can come back and if I need to put another coat on it.
Okay.
So what I would do is normally I would push this in and then glue it from the inside because it'll stick out.
Yeah.
So then nothing will leak out. On this particular one, I'm just going to put a dab of CA in there. Make sure it's going to pour. Okay. Just get a dab in there. Come on.
And the CA glue is basically what do you, crazy glue, right?
So, yeah, super glue. I think it might be a little different, but I'm not 100% sure. So same thing. Normally I would push this in and then glue it from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll use the thicker CA glue for that. Okay. Oops. That's a lot. Okay, so that. Yeah, that's not going to come out so great. Okay. Okay. So there it is. And then I would screw the eyelet up here so you could hang it.
Isn't that adorable?
Pinocchio.
That is so cute. Steve, I can't thank you enough.
No.
This was fantastic.
You're welcome.
And thank you for inviting us to the shop here.
Oh, glad you could come.
And this was really a fun project.
Yeah.